Working in a team is very important, otherwise you cannot blame the others. Welcome to the Academy of Photography, Christian Tudor, and today I am going to answer to the very important question everyone is asking. Not everyone, but 50% of the questions I get every day is: which camera should I buy, which one is better, where should I put my money, what about this, what about that? So long story short, my definite answer is you need to buy the camera that you can afford, and price will be probably the most important criteria someone will use buying a camera. So another thing I want to say is if you go for Canon or Nikon, everyone is talking about Canon this, Nikon that. Canon and Nikon, you cannot go wrong. So what I've done, I have created an Excel file. So this tutorial will be useful for those of you who can actually use Excel, because I have created a document with a comparison, the cheapest and the most expensive, the cheapest, the mid-range and the most expensive Canon and Nikon, all of them put together. So I have created this file, which I'm going to upload on the Academy of Photography website for you to download and use. So this file is structured by price. You will see the Canon compared with the Nikon by price. I'm going to go quickly on my computer and I'm going to show you what this is all about. But obviously all the available cameras today, I picked up as many as I could, not all of them, because there are so many camera offers out there I could not capture. I captured only the DSLR cameras, the entry level, mid-range and high-end professional level, and I put them together with a bunch of specifications which I believe they are the most useful in getting the right picture. Now let me ask you a question: what is the best picture? Which criteria you need to fulfill in order to get a good picture? In my opinion, 30% is the camera, 30% is the lens, and 30% will be your skill. The other 10%, probably lower, will be luck or weather or nature or whatever. But I would say if you do not have the right camera, you cannot get a proper picture. If you don't have the lens in front of it, you will not get a good picture. And also if you're not skilled enough and the content of the photo is not good, you're not going to have a good picture. Today I'm going to talk about only the camera, not the lenses. So I'm going to make this comparison between Canon and Nikon. Also, I would like to mention, I'm going to keep this file for anyone to download. I will keep it as a live file. I will add to it because camera prices will vary in time. I'm going to keep this file very handy, and I'm going to update it every time there is a new model or the prices are decreasing or increasing. If you believe you can add any value to it, I will be happy. You download the file, you add something to it and you send it back to me, and if I believe there will be added value, I'm going to upload it, the next version. So let's keep this as a file that anyone can use. You will see in a second all the comparisons between the Canon and Nikon cameras, so you will be able to have a better decision process. I'm going to move on my computer and I'm going to show you the file. We're going to go through some numbers, so it's all about numbers. So if you want to see nice pictures today, you're not going to get them. It's all numbers, so for those of you who don't like numbers, probably it's going to be boring, but I'm pretty sure all the camera savvy people will appreciate it. Alright, jumped on my computer and I'm going to show you guys my Excel file. So you need to have Excel in order to play with this. I'm going to upload it on the Academy of Photography website as promised earlier. And what I've done was basically compared all the available cameras today from Canon. On the left hand side, I'm just going to zoom, just give me 1 second in order to be able to sort out the zoom. And we started with the EOS Rebel SL1, the cheapest I could find. I'm talking about only DSLRs. I've got all the steps under 600 bucks and 700, from 700 to 1000, above 1000, 1700, above 2000, around 3000 mark, between 3 and 4, and above 5. So these are the available Canon cameras today. On the right hand side, it's Nikon, and you will be able to see the difference. So I have structured them both on about the same level of price. So this first criteria is the price. With the we start with the D3300, $390. I'm talking about in US dollars, and obviously it depends where you buy them from. It's gonna vary, but roughly this is a price which I believe it's kind of fair as of today. D5200, $500, and the next stage, D5300. Just trying to zoom so I can see also the Canon one. So we've got EOS 60D, about $700, which should be comparable with D5300. We start with the next batch, next step, in terms of whatever you need to invest, about $700. T6i, which is still not in the market, but it's gonna be released very soon, and EOS 70D, which is around $1,000 mark. I repeat, I already said that we are talking about only camera bodies today. We're not going to talk about lenses. The next step is the EOS 60D, and we are talking about full frame here. So you can actually own a camera with full frame starting with $13.99. And on the right hand side, I'm not sure you will see that I have highlighted the full frame cameras with a little bit of gray, so we can see the differences. Above, which is a little bit of a surprise, I've got the 7D Mark II at $16.99, around $1,700. 7D Mark II is not full frame, but it does have pretty good specs. Now we're continuing up to the high-end market. 5D Mark III from Canon, $2,400, 5DS and 5DSR, which will be available $3,600, $3,800. For the 50 megapixels, they will be released very soon. If you're gonna watch this in 1 year time, this video, probably these numbers have changed a little bit, but I am again, I will have this document updated at, I don't know, once a month or once in 2 months, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna keep this document live. So if you have an input in this, and if you believe that you can bring more to this table, I'll be happy to accept any contributions for whoever has the time and the passion for it. High-end market EOS 5,700. I remember in my day when I bought my 5D Mark II, it was $4,000, and the high-end DSLR cameras from Canon and Nikon will be around $10,000 mark. Obviously, all the cameras have dropped in price, so all the cameras are getting better and better every day and more affordable. Nikon D3300 starts with $390, D5200 $549. So I would say the Rebel series will be comparable with these ones. I would suggest you go on Nikon website and they will have all the cameras, even if some of them are not available anymore, and you will see exactly the specs, how from the lowest to the highest you can pick your own camera body. 60D, $700, D5300, around the same thing. In this area between 700 and 1000, we've got D5500 and D7100, $1,000, and we've got D7200, $1,200, D300S, which I don't understand why it's still on the market, because I went through the specs today, and for 12 megapixels, that's a pretty ancient camera, and ISO 3200, I still don't understand why this camera still exists on offer. Maybe someone can actually help me with that. Around the 1499, probably a little bit different in other places, as mentioned before, we start on the full frame. Now, people are asking me, which camera should I buy? I personally would love to have a full frame camera at all times, but that's not to say lower cameras are any worse. We've got again another crop sensor camera, D750 for $2,299, and D810 $299, and D810A 3799. This is a camera which is designed only for astrography. So I'm not sure if it's released right now, but I'm really keen on testing it. Now we've got the high-end DSLRs from Nikon, D3S 4800, probably not anymore, 12 megapixels, insufficient for today's market, and D4S is the available today is 5,900, almost $6,000 with a 16 megapixels. So very roughly, I want to make the comparison megapixels. EOS Rebel are 18 megapixels. You will see that the the increase in price from Canon is not necessarily increase in megapixel, and you will find between $700 and $1,000 24 megapixels, which is lower than the 6D and 7D, which have 20 megapixels. 5D Mark III 22 megapixels, 5DS, because this is a newbie, 50 megapixels, and EOS 1DX is 18 megapixels only. Now I've been using 21 megapixels, and I can say it's probably enough for what I do, but other people might have different needs, and I would say some of them 50 megapixel will be just fine. What I see here from Nikon is a little bit more consistency. All of them are around 24 megapixels with the exception of 36 megapixels. Now because Canon came with the 50 with the 5D with 50 megapixels, we will see probably a response from Nikon in the future. All right, I'm not sure if you will be able to see all these numbers right now on the screen, because this is a video. I'm looking at the document. For me, it's very easy. Now, frames per second, 4 frames per second, 3.7, 5. You will see here the variance is not according to the price. We can have 5 frames per second for T5i, and we can have 4.5 frames per second at 6D. So frames per second is not necessarily the driver. Only for 1DX we can see 14 frames per second. That's a lot. You can actually start shooting movies if you think about it. In terms of ISO, for me it doesn't really matter. I don't go 6400 anyway. So we've got 12,800 roughly on all the range, and we actually, for the high end, we are going only for 6,400. So when I'm hearing 100,000 ISO, I actually smile. I think that's useless, but again, I may be mistaken. Focus points, 9 focus points, 19 in this area, 61, 61, 61. Again, I disagree. More focus points will do a better job. 9 focus points will be plenty. And maybe for people who are shooting sports and fast action, more focus points will be useful. For me personally, wedding photography, 1 focus point is more than enough. If I'm shooting action, probably I would be happy to have 9, but that's more than enough. Going to Nikon, 24 megapixels across the whole range, with the exception of 36 megapixels on D810. You have to excuse me. And ISO, it's a little bit different. Again, it's not depending on the price. Focus points 39 and 51. Again, 51 across the high end and 39 across the low end. And video, all of them are doing the HD, with only one exception, which is from Canon, and that's why it's a 1DC, $8,000. This does a 4K, because we're having 18 megapixels for this camera, but it will do 4K. So probably for the DSLR video shooters, this will make sense to buy. Other than that, I don't think there are other settings that will actually make a difference in taking a better picture. The differences will be in all the specs and bells and whistles, all sorts of things, you know, LCDs, flip and flap, and I don't think more than this is actually interesting from a choice perspective. Obviously everyone is different, and if you have a specific requirement for a specific feature on a camera, that should influence you in purchasing one, but that's not gonna give you a better picture. What we have here is probably more than what makes a great picture. So I'm gonna stop here because I talked too much already. And what I would like to ask you, if you wanna add columns to the Excel, obviously you need to be an Excel connoisseur, not necessarily a professional, but if you wanna add more specifications to this document, feel free. I will be very happy to share my work with others, and I would be happy others will share the work with me, which I'm gonna put it up to the website. I probably said this 3 times already, for anyone to use. So basically that's about it. My recommendation for anyone who wishes to purchase a camera, and it's all about the price. Pick a camera that you can afford. That's my absolute advice. And if something is important to you as frames per second, I don't know, video, for example, for me it was very important to have autofocus on video on 70D, so I purchased the 70D for exactly this feature. That's not gonna give me a better or a worse picture than other cameras. It's just gonna give me this feature, so that is important for me, so I purchased this camera. But other than that, all the cameras are doing the same thing. My recommendation again, try to target a full frame sensor if you can afford it. That will make the difference. You'll have not necessarily more pixels, but you'll have a better color depth and a better definition. I believe in the full frame cameras. Go on the websites, do your research. You can do comparisons on any website that sells cameras. You can't compare all of them like I just did, and that's the purpose of this exercise, to have all of them in one go. Thank you for watching. Until I see you next time, I wish you happy shooting.